Hello, everyone. Welcome to Three Things at Three.
Woo-hoo.
I'm so excited to be here. Can you sense the excitement in the air right now,
Oh my
Kyle?
goodness.
It's like insane.
I'm jumping out of my skin.
Oh my goodness, so am I, because we have a bit of a crowd here today. We'll have to
Yes.
have them say hi a little bit later, but we are so excited. This is the week of Tug, which is the ultimate girlfriend getaway, and we haven't even begun yet.
Oh no, oh no.
All the fun begins tomorrow night, but actually maybe the
think they're
fun's
having
already
fun
started, right?
already.
Yes, I think
Yes.
so too.
Yes.
All right, everyone. So we are looking forward to a great show today. So happy that you chose to be here at Three Things at Three, where theme number 1 is something to smile about, theme number 2 is something to learn, and theme number 3 is something to discover. Let's go. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Three Things at Three, and we have Sandra who's joining us now. Hi, Miss Sandra.
Hello, how are you guys?
Oh my goodness, I'm so giddy right now.
I know.
can't even contain
you
myself.
guys, this is amazing.
Okay, we need to give a shout out to these wonderful ladies who are with us today. Let's take a look, because it is not just, we're not here on our own, folks. Yay! We've got some over here, we got some over there.
We got a full room.
I know, and I have a feeling that tomorrow's even going to be a little busier.
I think so too.
So, I mean, you all are descending upon Cache Valley, Utah. I don't think Cache Valley knows what has hit them.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
This
Main
is so
Street's
fun.
going to be overwhelmed with cars.
Yes, exactly. We've got not only 200 participants here for Tug, but this is a big football weekend,
Yes,
is it not?
It is.
University of Utah versus Utah State, ladies. This is a big deal.
Big deal.
My husband's going.
You're here on the weekend of all weekends. Is Reed heading to the game tomorrow? Or no,
I'm not.
Saturday,
Saturday.
excuse me.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. Oh my goodness. Well, we're going to be kind of tied up. We're a little busy Saturday.
Sad.
And you're not sad about it one bit, right? So much fun. All right, who do we have joining us from home? We've got Peggy. She says, what a fun group of ladies. And Linda's coming from West Valley, Utah, Oklahoma. We've got so many wonderful friends who are joining us both near and far, and we're so grateful. And we even have some friends. Kathy from YouTube is joining us. So,
Oh, nice.
you know, it's always fun to see our YouTube friends out there as well. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and get started with today. So, as you know, this week on Three Things at Three, we decided to take some of our favorite novels and be able to, issue a challenge and see who wants to be a part of a book club, if you will.
This is my first book club.
Oh, are you feeling
I've
so
not done
fancy?
book club
No.
before either.
Really?
Oh.
Should we continue
I
doing
think
it?
this,
Absolutely.
yes, I've
Absolutely.
really enjoyed this. It's really challenged me, and it's been great.
You know what? It has been a bit of a challenge, hasn't it? I mean, we were asking you to read 3 books for
Exactly.
1 week. That's usually doesn't happen. But, yesterday we talked about the Nightingale, and that is such a beautiful story.
I've just started it.
Oh, you are in for a real treat. You're going to really enjoy it. And for any of you who read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, definitely, watch yesterday's 3 at 3 to kind of feel like you are a part of the conversation. We want you to be a part of the conversation because it's actually a very powerful book with some really important lessons in it, something we can all learn from. Today, we are talking about another book that many of you are probably familiar with because it was also made into a recent movie, which is called The Boys in the Boat. And so Kyle and Sandra, I issued you two the challenge of reading this novel and then sharing a project, and you're going to do that during theme number 2.
Okay.
So before we get started with some of those book club kind of questions, let's go ahead and have Sandra's going to summarize what The Boys in the Boat is about.
Well, The Boys in the Boat is basically about a group of young boys out of the University of Washington. Now, in my opinion, Joe Rance was really kind of the hero in the book.
Definitely.
Okay. He was a teenager without a family, he had any prospects, and he needed to go out and regain himself. His family was gone, okay? He was plagued with a lot of personal demons. He had a devastating family history.
Absolutely.
And crushing poverty. They lived during the early part of the
Great Depression. Yeah.
And so lots and lots of poverty. The Boys in the Boat offers, in my opinion, an insight of how to forge a winning team from a lot of these boys from all over the country. Okay, and they had to learn how to do teamwork and leadership, and there was a lot of things in this book that just gripped me. Okay. The University of Washington rowers are farm boys, fishermen, loggers, and many of them that had never rowed before. They'd never even held an oar before. Okay, and so it became they had to bring out a lot of their hidden strengths in them in order to get this boat going, obviously, but also to win what they wanted to win. Okay.
It seemed brutal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and some of it was very brutal, okay? These 9 boys had to learn to act as one.
Definitely.
Which I think was really something else. They had to find what they called their swing.
Yes.
Okay.
I loved that. That hit home to me, the swing.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, let's see. Of all of the unique people, it says we are all unique people distinctly formed by our families, our backgrounds, and our experiences. And that's what built these boys to who they were later on in life.
Good and bad.
Yeah, you're exactly right, good and bad, because they all came from different times in life, okay? So it was really interesting to see how far these boys could go in what they were doing.
Yeah, that's a great summary, Sandra. I think for those of you who might just be joining us, this is the book that we're going to talk about today during theme number 1, Boys in the Boat, written by Daniel James Brown. And of course, we know that this was based on a true story of these 9 boys who were able to win the Berlin Olympics
in 1936.
Okay, in 1936. So interesting time period.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, very interesting.
And I love, there was a comment earlier, let's pull it down if you don't mind, from Sable. She said that The Boys in the Boat was thought-provoking and scary and made me admire that generation even more. That was my parents' generation. I love that comment, Sable. And I think that's really true. I mean, as you said, it was on the cusp of the Great Depression. It was also on the cusp of something else in history, which we talked about yesterday, which was?
The beginning of World War II.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so did it surprise you that the Olympics were held in Berlin?
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of all of the turmoil over there. And then Hitler, oh my gosh. No, we won't go there with any of that because
Yeah.
I think we all know
Yeah.
that he was so evil.
Yes.
And so so for them to do that, but he tried to disguise everything.
Oh,
Right.
That was his whole thing.
That whole theme of it was, I'm going to disguise everything around here so people will think we're better.
Yes, exactly.
And so that,
And they did a pretty good job of
yeah,
that, didn't they?
really did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of, and I think for the rest of the country, or I should say the world, everyone was kind of just like, they kind of put kind of a
Couldn't really
wool
be
over their
happy.
eyes a little bit.
Yeah, I think so,
right?
too.
They wanted to believe that all those things were true, the propaganda that was shared at that time from Hitler. So kind of interesting that, the Olympics, something that brings everyone together, was actually at a place that there was so much division.
Right,
Right.
right.
So, but that's just one part of the story. I want to let's dive into the very beginning of this story. Okay.
Okay.
And we learn about Joe.
Joe.
Okay, so that's kind of who perhaps the unsung hero of it, if you will. This is the one who started out with as kind of what the whole story was about.
Right.
When he was talking to Daniel James Brown.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And Daniel said, this is a story that needs to be told. And so what was for those of you who may not have read this, and I'm going to let you know, this is a spoiler alert because we're going to talk about it all. But what was Joe's family life? Kyle?
It wasn't much.
It wasn't much, right?
Yeah, he at 10 years old, he lost his mother, first of all.
Yeah.
And then his father married a young girl that was like 15 years younger than him.
Right.
A lot younger than him.
Yeah.
And then at 14, she said, I can't have him in my house anymore.
Right.
So
Why?
she kicked him
Yeah.
out.
Can you imagine?
I
Okay.
know.
No, but I know someone a little bit who can imagine that. Kyle, you want to tell
Yeah.
us how that hit home to you?
Yeah, as I was reading it, I'm like, oh my goodness. I was 9 years old when my father died in a motorcycle accident and my mother left.
Yes.
She couldn't handle it. There were 8 children, some were older, but she left. I don't know where she was.
Yeah.
The day we left the house to go up to New York, I don't know where she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did that do to you as a
Well,
child?
I'm still in counseling.
Yes, and that's okay, right?
And it's okay. Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
bet it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lifelong process of forgiveness and just being where you are now. It's
Right.
pretty amazing, Kyle.
If you ask me, the one thing my mother taught me, forgiveness.
Yeah,
Because she had a hard life herself.
yeah.
And so she just honestly couldn't do it.
But it took you a long time to get to that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
No.
And
We
it
went
wasn't
up to a
easy growing
totally
up.
new place, didn't know anything about it. At least someone took us in. We were all
Yes.
going to be divided up into foster care.
Yeah.
But somebody took us.
So did that have an even more powerful impact on you as you read this story?
Oh, yeah.
You were like, okay,
I don't know if I can do this.
like,
Yeah.
why did Kris have me read this story?
Yeah, yeah. Did you even know that was in there?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
yeah,
did.
yeah, I just have
I-
so much compassion for him.
Yeah,
And he was strong because he had
was.
nobody.
Yeah, he had nobody. His brother
Nobody.
was off. His brother had actually married the twin sister of who his
yeah.
who his father married.
Right.
And you're like, oh,
Wait a
okay.
minute.
That makes a lot of sense. Anyway,
yeah.
And so he actually had no one because his brother kind of left him.
Yeah.
And so he was all on his own. And at 14 years old, he's living by himself, cooking his own dinner.
Yeah.
You know,
Finding out how to get some money
Yeah.
yeah.
to
Ju-
survive.
And he was very resourceful.
Yeah.
Very resourceful,
Yeah.
you know, when he went out and started making money in a lot of different ways, just so that he could put food on the table for himself. So,
And the house wasn't in that great a shape, was it?
no, it wasn't finished all the way.
Yeah.
His dad had started building and it wasn't all the way finished.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he,
But I think we can learn some powerful lessons from Joe in the growing up and going through the hard things, and that he discovered that he was more capable of things than he and more than I.
Brave.
And you're way more capable than what you
Absolutely.
think.
I have a lot of
So-
I have a lot of fears.
Yeah, absolutely. So Joe, you know, he dealt with a lot of hardships. There was someone very special in his life who came into his life earlier.
Yeah.
You know, and who was that?
That was his friend Joyce,
Yes.
first of all, which later you learn becomes his wife.
Yeah.
But yeah, she came into his life when he was in school and was very encouraging for him. Her family was very supportive of Joe also, invited him into their home multiple times. And so, yeah. And then they had obviously a very long romance, I guess you could say.
Sure.
Until after the Olympics is when after he graduated from college, before they finally got married.
Right.
But she was behind him. She was his number one cheerleader.
Yeah.
She was always there. You know, you can do this. You can do this.
I just grew to so much affection for Joyce during that. I thought, you know what?
She was amazing.
She was amazing, and she saw him through all the ups and downs. And I think if there's that special someone in your life who has kind of helped you see that there's more to life than, you know, what you're currently going through in your current circumstances, because she could have easily been like, oh, he's got a lot of
of baggage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But she was there for him through thick and thin,
Yeah,
right?
she was.
Yeah.
She was.
So
She
I
saw all his
I loved
strengths.
that love story between the two of them,
Yeah.
and I felt like it was just such a genuine, heartfelt, tender love story.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
all right. Well, another interesting aspect that I thought when I read this book, I went, you know what? We hear a lot about Joe, his childhood, growing up, and things like that. But I want to get your opinion, Sandra and Kyle. Did you think that this book was just as much about Pocock, who was
Pocock?
Pocock, excuse me.
Yes, very much
who
so.
was the builder of
Yes,
the boat.
builder of the boat.
Just as much as Joe.
Yes.
Like, he went through a transformation too.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on that about Pocock?
Well, at first he was very just kind of laid back. He didn't really. He built the boats, okay, and then later Albrecht, the coach of the
Yes.
of the team, he decided that he needed some help with these boys, and so he noticed that Pocock had been watching the rowers. He'd been watching as they went around and did things. He watched Joe and found out that Joe had nothing. He was absolutely had nothing. His clothes were always the same, and he watched Joe a lot.
Yeah.
And so finally he went to Joe and said, I think I can help you in getting through your issues so that you can learn to trust
Yeah, it was a
the
big
other boys
Yes.
in the boat.
You can't do it all by yourself.
No, and he had a really hard time trusting other people because of what he had been through.
Oh yeah.
Right.
He kept
I would
saying,
too.
everybody, all the people just let you down.
and they leave me.
and they
because he wasn't
exactly.
left once
No.
or twice.
Yes.
It was like over and
and
over
More
and over.
than
He wasn't
one.
allowed to see his family.
Right.
Brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went to see his family, and she said, no, I don't want you around, his
Yeah.
stepmom. But anyway, so Pocock really did have a lot to do with Joe and the team, because he helped kind of like analyzing them and helping them and knowing what they needed in order to.
And he built
grow.
the very best boats.
Oh.
Absolutely.
More
Everybody
than
all
one.
over the
More
country.
than one.
More
and-
than one.
Yes, and all
Yeah.
over for sure. So MJ says that Pocock was a rower in England, so he had had that
he
experience.
was.
But he also had a difficult childhood growing up as well. So perhaps he maybe related a little bit more to
I think
Joe
so.
than, you know, I thought that was kind of interesting take on that.
Yeah.
I'll have to say, you know, if you are from Washington State, you got to be really super proud of this book, right? I mean, those of you from Washington State, you are reading all about, you know, the different places and spaces there in Washington. I couldn't help but think to myself, wow, if I was from Washington, I'd be like, I know that place, and I know that place, and I know this, you know. So I thought that was pretty cool. So shout out to our Washingtonians. Is that what you call yourselves, Nancy? I don't know. But I thought that was really, really, really cool because, again, this is a true story. And you have a lot of races in here,
A
right?
lot.
There are a
I
lot
couldn't
of races.
keep track of all the races, but I want you to know I'm from Cornell area.
Yeah, are you? Okay, nice. So were you proud of the East Coast
Yo,
being
absolutely.
represented? Although
Absolutely.
they were kind of snots.
Yeah, Ivy League.
Yeah. There you go.
Pinkies up.
You know, Kris, I like what Patty had to
Yeah.
say here.
Yeah.
It says that Pocock didn't try to fix Joe's situation. He just tried to help him find the tools to help himself.
I love
like that because you're
I love that.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Alice said sometimes all it takes with a kid is to pay attention and listen to them to build a relationship. And I think that's a very good point as well, Alice, for sure.
Yeah,
We've
I
got
agree.
several quotes here that we want to share, and I want to get both of your takes on these. All right, so the first one says, these are quotes from the book, not just for glory, but for the other boys in the boat. What does that mean to both of you?
I picked out that quote because I thought, you know, these boys were working for each other. They weren't working to win. I mean, they were, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They were working together because they wanted to make it so that all of the other boys could win also. It wasn't just for my personal stuff. It wasn't just for the glory.
You're right.
It was for the boys in the boat.
The boys in the boat. And, you know, it's pretty powerful when you think about the symbolism of the boat.
Right.
There's some pretty good,
Yeah, I agree.
you know, things to think about when we consider the boat itself and what
They're
brought
all
them together.
Facing backwards. Only one person in that boat is seeing where they're going.
Ah, interesting. And who is that?
Oh,
That's
that
the coxswain,
Pocock.
right?
Coxswain, that's
yeah,
it.
the coxswain. He's the one who's
Yeah.
giving
Bobby.
Bobby. He's the one who's giving the, you know, the commands to
And
everyone.
they have to trust him.
Exactly. Now, here's an interesting part. I don't know if they talked about it in the movie as much as they did in the book, but I thought it was interesting that Bobby Mox, was it? He was actually Jewish himself.
Yes.
But his parents kept that information from him his whole life.
His whole life.
Because they wanted to protect
him. Yes.
And not until right before he was going to the Olympics to Berlin, his father said, I need to share something with you.
Well, he wanted to go meet his family. He wanted to go see other people in his family. And his dad's like, yeah, I'm not sure that's a smart idea.
Yeah.
Because of this.
Yeah.
And so they finally revealed to him that they were Jewish.
Yeah.
Because it was serious. You didn't mess with that.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
No.
So I couldn't help but imagine and wonder like how it was when, you know, Bobby Mox got there and was, you know, and saw who Hitler was and, you know, that had to been like in the back of his mind a lot more. I would have liked to know like a little bit more. Did they talk about that in the movie or not
no,
so
they
much?
did not.
Okay, so
No.
that was more in the book.
Yeah, that's
The
mostly
book
in
had
the book.
so much more depth of all the
it?
characters.
Yeah, well, and obviously, you know, it's a 2-hour show. What can
Yes.
you do in 2
Yeah,
hours?
exactly.
The book
you
wasn't
know.
a 2-hour book.
No,
No,
it's
no.
not.
So you definitely learn a little bit more by reading the book. We have a couple of other quotes for you. Let's take a look. Sometimes you will feel as if you have rowed right off the planet and are rowing among the stars. That's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, Sandra, why did you choose that one?
I picked that one because after all of their hard work, and as they get into that swing,
Yes.
you know, the sink, because everybody has to be rowing at the same time, at the same, you know, amount of rows and the whole bit. They felt like that everything just kind of floated.
Yeah.
And he said, and that's when he said that it feels like you could just be
Just keep
rowing
going.
off into the
Yeah,
stars.
I loved that.
Because even at the end,
Because then it feels effortless.
yes,
Right?
yes,
You're just in that motion.
because at the end of a lot of times of their races and stuff, all of the other teams were worn out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But these boys could have gone on.
Yes.
And so I felt like that was really nice because they could just feel like they're floating.
Uh-huh. Isn't that the ultimate goal for all of us, is to get into the swing of something and just get into that rhythm where you're like, it's still work and it's still effort, but we finally feel like we're like rowing in the right direction.
But if you're all working at the same thing
Yeah.
and all going at the, the same pace, you can make it work and it can be a success.
Exactly.
And encouraging each other.
Yes, they
Yeah.
were very, that I think that was an important lesson in this book as well. Yeah.
Yeah. They
For
all
sure.
they all wanted the same thing.
They all wanted it.
Well,
and so
and
they're
they all
willing.
learned.
Yeah.
They all learned that they're all in this. They all came from the same background.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. They all thought, oh, he's higher up than me, or he came from a real good family with a lot of money, and they found out that was not the case. So that was really great too.
Oh, interesting. Patty shares this. Men as fit as you draw on a mysterious reservoir of power far greater than it is that you can reach for the stars. That is the way champions are made. And George Podok, it was interesting because in the book they give before every chapter, George Podok has a quote.
Yes.
And I think they're lessons not only for the race but for life.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, and one final quote.
Okay, this one actually came out of the movie.
Okay.
Okay.
I like this.
This one came at the very end of the movie. You see Joe Rance walking down the down with his grandson, and his grandson says to him, "Grandpa, did you like being, an 8-man crew?" And he looked at him and he said, "There's not 8. We were 1."
Yeah. Oh, I kind of got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Did you, Kyle?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
actually brought tears to my eyes as I
Yes.
watched the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, because I thought, he was right. They had to be 1 in order to win.
I love that. Oh my gosh, so many good thoughts, so many great takeaways from this book. We highly recommend that you read it. It's called The Boys in the Boat by Daniel James Brown. 9 Americans in their epic quest for gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. Of course, we know the spoiler is that they did win, right? We all know
I
that.
think we all know that before we even start. Yeah, I
Before we
think
even
all-
begin, it's like, yes, they did
But
win.
it's how they won.
But how they won.
And they didn't win every race.
That's true.
They had to readjust and try new things and over.
And it wasn't always the same boys in the boat
No.
either.
No, they had to find the ones that could go together.
Yeah.
But if you find the ones that they originally started on the freshman boat were the ones that ended
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the Olympics.
It's so fascinating.
yeah.
So good. I loved it. And I think one of the things that I also love, and this goes for all Olympic stories. You know what? There's not one Olympics that you can't think of a great story that comes from it, about the overcomer, about the person from behind. And I think for me, that last race in the Olympics was very powerful. And I was finding myself I just kept wanting to read to, okay, well, tell me, I know they won, but how did they win?
Yeah.
And I want you to stick around for theme number 3 because we actually have footage from the actual boat race
Oh, wow.
from the 1936 Olympics that we want to share with you today. Just get your tissues ready because theme number 3, I'm just telling you, because I think there's such a feeling of passion, drive, teamwork.
Leadership.
And
Bobby
camaraderie.
Mox.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love him.
The one guy that was so sick,
Yes.
Yeah.
and they all
Don-
wanted him to
Don
be in
knew.
there. He shouldn't have been in the boat, but they wanted him in
They
there.
said, we got to have him.
We
He's
gotta
part
have
of
him.
it.
He's part of it. Yeah, I love that. What's your biggest takeaway from this, Kyle?
Mine is that you can't always just rely on yourself. You've got to let other people in, and it'll be okay. Trust.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on
Yeah,
that for sure.
trust.
What about you, Sandra?
I think a lot of it too is working together. You know, we all in our families, in our, you know, our work, wherever we are, we all have to work together to make it successful.
Absolutely.
You know, I've always told my kids, you can't depend on those people out there. You got to depend on the people in your family, because we will always be there for you.
I love that.
So,
And it's okay to have big dreams, right?
oh, you bet.
You know it? Dream big. You never know what's around the corner, and you never know where a lot of hard work and just being just a good person, where that can get you in life.
Well,
And
I
it's
think that's
huge.
what Joe did, because he wanted to finish college. He wanted to get an
yeah.
education.
Yeah.
And he knew that the only way he could do it would be to be in the boat, but he had
'Cause he
those
didn't
big
have the money
dreams. Right.
to go to
He had
school.
those big dreams in the end, that I'm going to graduate and look what I can do.
And I'm going to work so hard,
Yes.
not only on the boat, but also, I mean, the work
worked
we were
nights,
talking about,
didn't
the jobs that he had, like
Oh,
through
on
all
that
this
dam?
too. Yes, right?
No.
Did it scare you just
Yeah.
thinking
Yes.
about
No
that?
way.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
So, I mean, it goes to show that, you know, he took nothing for granted. And I think that's an important lesson in life, is gratitude and just working hard. And that
Yeah.
will get you to places that you would have never imagined.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
all right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this discussion for theme number 1. It's a little bit different for us. Theme number 1, we're usually trying to, you know, make you laugh or, you know, bring a smile to your face. But today we appreciate you like just diving into this book with us a little bit more, learning a little bit more about the story behind this true story. And if you haven't read it, we encourage you to do so, and then join us in a conversation on Friends of My Girlfriend's Facebook page, because I think there's a lot of really important lessons that we can all learn from. So thank you, Sandra and Kyle, for sharing your thoughts with all of us today. It's been really intriguing. I was telling Eric yesterday, I said, you know, yesterday I loved sharing about that book so much, I could have gone on for another 2 hours because there were so many
Yes.
good lessons and so many valuable things about it that I wanted to share. But I hope that we can continue the conversation on Friends of My Girlfriends, because you know what? This is what 3 at 3 is all about. This is the new 3 at 3. And what it's about is it's all about the quilter, and it's all about you, but the whole you, not just the sewing you. And I think that's what we're taking away from all the things that we have done in the last several months on 3 at 3, is it's about the entire you. And we hope you feel that. All right, well, theme number 2 is next, and the two of you have come up with a super fun project for us, based and inspired by this book. I can't wait to have you share with everyone what you have dreamt up. Super excited. And no pun intended, dreamt up. Did you get that? Okay, you'll see what I mean here in just a minute.
Yep.
So we'll go ahead and move over to set number 2 for theme number 2. And while these two wonderful women go set up, I want you to take a quick look at the brand new Baby Lock Applaud
Whoa.
cover stitch machine. It was just debuted at Baby Lock Tech, and we couldn't be more excited. In fact, all of you ladies at Tug will get a chance to see it live and in person this week. So let's go ahead and go over to theme number 2.
Well, Kyle and I came up with this fun little project that we think that it would be really fun for everybody to make, okay? Kyle did this. I will have to say, Kyle was the one that designed this. Between her and Kris, they were able to put this together. But here's our boat in the water with our oars, and then our Dream Big. Now this will be available for all of you, and it comes with machine embroidery and regular sewing version also.
Nice.
So
nice.
that's really nice to have that.
I love those
So,
stitches, the decorative stitch on the top.
yeah, this is great. You guys did a great job on this.
Thank you very much.
Okay, but Kimberbell just recently came out with this new backpack that I thought would be really fun to put this on, because guess what? You could put that on and you can go to the football game, you can go to school, you can go wherever you want to go.
You can go rowing.
Exactly. You can take this in the boat. Okay, exactly. So, but I also, I think all of us are, big, huge Kimberbell fans.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
And Kimberbell came up with this technique a little while back on a couple of their totes, where you can reinforce the bottom
That's a great idea.
of the bag, okay? So I used that technique that they taught us how to do that on, let's see, that was in Summer Nights, it was in Garden Guild, to reinforce this, just to kind of give the bottom of your bag a little bit more strength. So those objects that we're going to be putting in our bag don't go through the bottom of it. And so that works out really nice. So let me kind of show you how this is done, okay? So Kyle, the first thing you got to do is you take your backpack,
Okay.
and you got to find the bottom of it. Ah, there goes my pen. I'll
we
get
need it?
another one. There's another one in the drawer. It's all good. Okay, so you find the bottom of your bag. So you put wrong sides together, okay? And
How do I know what's the wrong side?
well, on this one, you don't really know.
Okay.
This backpack can go either way.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
So it doesn't really matter. So it's a matter of whether or not you want the
stitching.
casing on the outside of the bag, or if you want to find a regular seam on the outside of the
Okay.
bag. So it doesn't really matter.
Because
Yeah.
your edges are finished.
Yep, the edges of these backpacks are finished, and these are amazing. I really have liked these. If you were with us, we did the DDE for September, and they had a Halloween design on it, and Kimberbell used these backpacks. So I thought this would be a really great thing to use for this. Okay, so you find your center here. Okay, then the middle of the bag. So then. Go ahead.
Center, no matter that you're going to reinforce the bottom.
We're going to reinforce the bottom first.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll decide on how we're going to put that on there. Okay, so I'm going to
Oh,
take.
you want to do this before you put your design on.
Correct, you do. You do want to do that.
Otherwise, it could end up on the bottom.
That's right. You're going to have the part of it not in the right place. So anyway, so what we're going to do here is I measured up about 2.5 inches from the bottom of the bag. Okay.
What? 2.5?
Uh-huh. And I'm going to draw a line right there and right there.
Is that 2.5?
No, it's 3.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute, Sandra.
This one's 2.5, okay?
Okay.
This one's 2.5 here, and I wanted a little bit more.
Okay. Okay.
So
I wasn't losing my
basically-
mind.
No, but
Okay.
basically what I'm saying here too is it doesn't matter.
Oh,
You
good.
can go 2.5, you can go 3, you can go, well, you don't want to go, I don't know that you want to go much more
No,
than
because you want to
than
be able
that.
to fit stuff in your backpack.
Right, right. And I'm going to draw a line across here for you.
Thank
just
you.
for you,
Thank you.
okay?
Appreciate that.
And just like that, okay? And then what I'm going to have you do here, Kyle, is I'm going to have you take this and I'm going to have you sew it right across that line.
Okay.
Both sides together, both together, okay? Don't
okay.
unfold it,
Don't unfold it.
both together. And I'm going to have you make a new bottom of our bag. And here's your foot pedal. You got it?
Okay. Oh,
right.
and I did the foot again. Because this is a cool machine.
It is.
Now, here's my question. Do I need to backstitch? This will be in the seam.
Yeah,
Side seam?
probably would be a good idea. Just maybe 1 or 2 stitches.
Okay. Oh, I put the foot up. I got problems.
No, you're good.
Okay, now I'm gonna reverse.
Just a couple stitches and then go all
Okay.
the way across.
Zoom, zoom.
That's Kris. Zoom, zoom. Okay,
Oh, I didn't backstitch.
just a little bit. It's all right. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be just fine.
Okay.
Okay, so we've stitched that straight across the bottom of the bag. Then I'm going to take my bag and I'm going to open it. So in order for me to open it, I'm going to have to unstring it. But guess what,
How will
Kyle?
I get it back in?
I'm going to teach you how to do that
Okay.
too. Okay, so I'm going to pull that string from that side, and then I've got one here and one here. I got to make sure I pull the right one, that one, and this one. Yep, got it.
Okay. Pulling one from each side?
Yep, so now it's open. Okay, so I've got a string all the way across on this and a string all the way across here, but we'll show you how to restring it. Okay,
Okay.
now I'm going to open this up. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to open it up
Ah,
just like that.
and you've already got your center.
And I've got my center here, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to make sure that that center stays just like that, all the way across. Now, can I take this to the iron and press it really quick?
I think you
Okay.
can.
That would make it easier for you when you stitch this down.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Okay. So again, just make sure that the center there, you can feel that at your seam
Oh,
on the
okay.
bottom there.
Okay.
Okay? And then I'm very carefully just going to press that down.
That's a nice iron.
It's awesome. It is.
Look at how flat that is. You do real good.
So, there we go. My string's underneath that.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now it's your turn. Okay, I'm
gotta
going to
sew
give
again?
you this, and I
Okay.
want you to take just by 1/8 of an inch
Top stitch like.
a top stitch right down both sides.
Here's my takeaway. Make sure all the strings are out of the way. All the-
Exactly.
Sandra on camera. Oh, I hit the
You
button
got
again.
it.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Just down that edge right there. Super simple, easy way to reinforce the bottom of these bags like that.
Am I doing it on both sides?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Good job.
0 to 60 in like 5 minutes.
You got it. Okay. Nice.
Okay.
All right. So there you go. So
That was
now
it?
that's it. That is
Yeah.
it.
And
so
so it's got 2 layers?
it-
Let's see the
well,
bottom.
if you look at it here, it's got more than that. It's got
3
one,
layers.
2, 3 layers.
Wow.
Like that right there.
Huh.
But look at what it does to the bottom of your bag. So your pencils or whatever else that you're putting in the bottom of your bag aren't gonna are
Poke
just
through
gonna
the
be
end?
there. It's gonna give it a little bit
Or your
more
scissors?
durability. Yeah, or your scissors.
Yeah, because we could take this to
You-
sewing class.
Oh, you bet you could. Yeah. So that is how you take care of the bottom of the bag right there. Now,
And you did that on the outside of the bag.
I did.
Okay, because
Yep.
the fold is on the inside.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
I did that on the outside, so it looks like that. So now, Kyle, what are we gonna do?
Now we're gonna do our embroidery.
Right. So you're going to kind of find the center of this section where you're going to embroider
Okay,
on.
doesn't matter.
Okay.
They're both the same.
Right. And when I
Front and
did
back.
this, I used just a sticky back tearaway.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just a sticky back
Nice.
tearaway, and I put this. You can use your crosshairs in your embroidery machine, or you can just find the center and
On your
line
hoop
it up
and stuff?
on your hoop. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if you're doing it, obviously, if you're doing it with an applique and stitching it down, you can do it that way too.
Okay.
So,
All right.
now what do I have to do?
Now you gotta put those back in that sucker.
Yep, we do. We got to restring these things, don't we?
And it looks like you've taped them.
I have. I've marked them, okay?
Oh, why?
So, the front right here, I've marked with tape, and you're going to take your marker and you're going to put, just so that you know which one's which, okay? just for precautionary, okay?
You don't
I'm
wanna
going to
cross
mark
them?
this one as A.
Okay.
And this is on the front of the bag, okay? And this one is A. Sorry, I'm
So
out of
both,
the camera.
both of the ones that are in the front are A.
RA, that's correct. And then I just put some tape on the end of them here. And then these are B, the ones on the back.
Back.
B.
Good job. Good job. I like
Back,
it.
B.
I can remember that.
Okay. Okay. And this one is a B, okay?
Okay.
Now, one other thing that you'll notice, Kyle, I put a safety pin in them.
That's
But
my
I
favorite.
only put a safety pin in one string, and if you notice, they're on opposite sides of the bag.
Is one on A and one on B?
That's correct.
Look at me.
But one is on the right and one's on the left.
Oh.
Why do you think?
Because you come from this way, you got to go back that way.
Correct. And then the other one's going to go the other direction.
How
Right.
do we know that?
Ah,
Have we ever done it backwards?
it won't work if you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't work. So then I'm going to take.
It's really simple.
It really is, isn't it? I'm going to take this one here, and I'm going to string it through this side and come out the other side. Let's see. Let's take my safety pin. There we go. Now, if you have like a drawstring threader, those
yeah.
work really good.
Because I've used a big safety pin before, and it's come undone. And,
Oh,
blood,
ouch.
blood.
Yeah. There's a couple of things. There's like a thing called a bodkin.
I have that.
Okay. But if you don't have any of those, guess what? Safety pin works
How many
great.
times do I find a safety pin big enough?
Well,
I keep one in my drawer.
I think most quilters have a lot of safety pins, don't they? I know I have a whole big container full of them at my house. Just so that when I sandwich my quilts together or whatever,
Oh,
I
yeah.
use a safety pin
I
or
know my
two.
sister-in-law did that a lot.
Yeah. All right. We're going to get this through here in just a second. Okay.
Oh.
There's one.
Okay. Oh, look at that.
'Kay.
That end's closed.
Okay. And now I'm going to take this one on the other side. Where's my safety pin? There it is. I got to make sure I got the right one. And I got to make sure I have A, not B.
Because
Okay.
you just put B through.
I
'Cause you run it from
did.
the back to the front.
I did. There we go. There it is. Okay. I'll do it quickly, hopefully. All right.
Sometimes your tape will be enough to get it through.
Yeah, if it's stiffer, this is Kimberbell tape, and it's
Oh,
not
yeah,
as
they don't have that as stiff.
It's not as stiff, but if
We
you,
don't want that stiff.
no. If you use a different tape, then that works good too. Sometimes that drawstring's in my way.
All right, we've almost got it.
Okay, we're about there.
And then after we string it,
Then you can sew your bag together.
just sew it with on the wrong side or right sides together,
Correct.
and just make sure you backstitch at the top and the bottom, like I
Correct.
did not do.
Correct. Yes. Okay.
But you don't go
So,
through those.
There you go.
Here's your thing, though.
Did it work? Do you think it worked?
Yes, absolutely. I have all the faith in the world. Absolutely.
Worked.
Yes, you're like a genius.
Okay, so now you're going to take these and you're going to even them up. You're going to turn it right sides together, obviously, but you're going to even those up as best you can. There we go. That one's even. Then that one should be even.
Close.
Okay, then you're going to turn this right sides together like that.
Okay.
Okay. And you're going to take your drawstrings and you're going to bring them to the inside of the bag.
True. We don't want those
Okay,
on the
we don't want
inside.
them on the inside. We want them on the outside. So you're going to bring those to the inside of your bag. You're going to again find the bottom of the bag like that.
The center, yeah.
And then you're going to take your drawstrings, and I put mine just above where that reinforcement
Yeah, because
is.
it's a backpack. You need it to
Yeah.
go around your shoulders.
Okay,
Okay.
just where
You're
that.
catching those in the seam.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you're going to take
how high
this,
up do I go?
Then you're going to go up to the top here. You see these Kimberbell bags here, they folded these over a little bit here. And that is where you can stop because it gives you like a finished edge right
Yeah,
there.
I can see that.
Okay,
It's a
so
good
you
idea.
can sew right to there.
Don't
you
sew
don't
over
want to
those.
sew over your no, you don't want to sew over this part right here.
It won't
because
open and
then
shut.
you won't be able to work it right. So that's how that works.
Okay, and you do
Okay.
that on both sides.
Both sides.
And your bag is complete?
And then your bag's done.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Super simple.
All right, were there any questions?
Little way just to reinforce the
F
bottom
for
of your
front
bag.
and B for back. Yeah, you could do either way.
Yeah.
Yep.
That you
that
could
was-
do it that way. Yeah,
That
Doris
was
says-
awesome.
Yep. So that's how you can kind of reinforce the bottom. Again, I'll turn this back out so you can see it one more time. This
And they will
boat,
get the pattern, right?
I believe
For
so.
the boat.
Is that how it works, Kris?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how it
We
works.
got it.
Dream big.
Dream big.
You
All
got
right.
it.
Yes. Yes. All right. So for thing number 3, we're going to go
I'm
back
gonna
over with
discover
Kris. Yes. Let's see
something
what
to
we
discover.
discover. All right. Let's go.
Struggling with perfect placement on your embroidery machine? Baby Lock has the answer. Let's say that I have a t-shirt here, and let's pretend that the t-shirt has a pocket. And I want a design to go exactly above the pocket. How do I figure out exactly how to hoop it and where my design is going to go? Let me introduce you to the perfect positioning app that you can use on your smartphone. Find my IQ positioning app. Use photo frame for easy positioning. Now I place my phone over top and hold it. Notice I have that square there. This is my fabric, and I'm going to send it to the machine. Okay, slide it in. This is the design that I want to bring over the pocket. I'll hit set, and you can see that my pocket is there, and all I have to do is move it exactly where I want my design to go. Hit embroidery, and it goes exactly where I need it to be. Talk about perfection when it comes to my machine embroidery. This is exciting technology, and we're proud to be able to carry it here at My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop and mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com.
Here's a book, Kyle. Kyle's
you.
feeling funny without one.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yay.
All right, too fun. All right, well, you know what? That was a great project. Thank you, both of you.
Yeah,
I
thanks.
loved it. I loved the applique part of it. I loved the knowing how to reinforce the bottom. That was
That was
excellent.
easy. You could do that with
And you
Any
really
tote or
could.
backpack, yeah,
Yeah.
it works
Yeah,
great.
that's
a
it
good
really
idea.
does. It's awesome.
And you know what? That backpack is really fun. In fact, you just did a digital dealer exclusives
Yes.
with that same backpack
Yeah.
with the Boo designs.
Yes.
So
And that's still available also.
Yeah, so if you want to check those products out, go to new releases at mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com and you can be able to find those there. And the pattern for today's applique for machine embroidery as well as sewing applique is yours for free. So there you go.
Wow, thanks,
All right.
Kris.
Yeah, no problem. All right, friends. Well, as I mentioned earlier, that for theme number 3, we are really excited to be able to share with you just a couple minutes of real actual footage from the 1936 Berlin Olympics when the boys in the boat actually won the race. It's very, very tender. I think you're going to enjoy it. Let's go ahead and end on such a highlighted note.
The 8th. Switzerland, Hungary, Great Britain, America, Italy, and Germany are in the final. Nearest to us, Great Britain furthest away, second. Halfway, Italy still lead, but America on the far side have passed Great Britain. Here on the left, coming up hand over fist on Italy, are Germany. Last 100 yards. Great Britain leading on the far side. Italy coming up. Germany nearest to us, third. Hungary, fourth. But there's America away over there. Just in front, the win by a yard. Italy second, Germany third.
Oh,
Wow.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's one of those moments that obviously they'll never forget, but I think America will never forget either.
I mean, within just 16ths of seconds, just seconds is all they won by too.
And to
it was
come from behind.
Yes, and it was a photo finish. They had to
Yes.
look at the picture in order to tell who
Yes.
won.
Couldn't tell.
I loved in the book that they weren't sure if they did win.
Yeah.
And one of them asked, "Did we win?" And he's like, "I think so." He wasn't sure.
Well, they couldn't hear either because the crowd was
crowd.
absolutely so loud.
Yeah.
The crowd was so loud. But
And
yeah, it was so
I
good.
got goosebumps just thinking about the families at home who were listening on the radio. Did we win? Did we? They weren't sure. So it was just beautiful. And I think, I guess I get just a little sentimental and emotional when I think about it, because when I see the crowds cheering and the story behind all of it leading up to this point. It wasn't something that just happened overnight. This is years and years of hard work and dedication in so many areas of their life. And so for that to all come to a head and have that final moment of victory, It's pretty
Because
powerful.
they weren't going to be able to make it. They didn't have enough money to sponsor
Exactly.
them. Yeah. So
Yeah.
everybody
But
pulled together.
everyone pulled together. The community pulled together.
They had
and-
so many things against them to
Yeah.
even to.
Yeah.
And then when they got there and they couldn't sleep because everybody was
Yeah.
making so much noise. I mean, there's so much more
There's
to it.
so much more. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. Wow.
so much more to it that you
Well-
really just got to do. You got to grab it and read it.
Yeah.
And I will say that Daniel Brown did a great job.
Yes, he did.
He
Yes.
did a great job
Yeah.
in authoring this and
Yeah.
and getting all of the information together. So
yeah,
it was
for
awesome.
Sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, both of you. What a fun thing to be able to visit with you today and to really dive a little bit deeper into the book and some of the meaning behind it. So thank you. Before we end today, I want to give a shout out to all of you out there who may be difference makers. We are looking for your stories for an upcoming 3 at 3. And the week is all dedicated to difference makers. I can't wait to introduce you
wow.
to some of the interviews that we have planned. This is just a few weeks away, but we want to know if you know of somebody who's a difference maker, big or small, it doesn't matter, in their community. Will you please send us a note and let us know a little bit more about them? You can send it to info@mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com. Don't forget, shop has 2 P's and an E. All right, friends, well, that wraps things up for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a most wonderful rest of your day, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye-bye.